I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.
Hello, everybody. Fibonacci Lee.
Yes.
So, Bitcoin retrace pending. Last week, we said to everybody, get ready, shit's about to hit the fan. And then over the weekend, the fan's still intact. So, what's cooking there? So, we're going to be looking at that. I've got a big question that I want to ask you guys, and actually ask Lee and let him explain something to you guys. So we're going to be looking at Bitcoin weekly time frame. There's a few additional stuff we're going to be looking at. So Lee, the weekly candle close. What is the name that you've been using for this candle now?
the cheating one.
The cheating one. Briefly explain what does this candle mean, and then we'll show it and we'll take it from there.
Well, basically, it gives you the, wherever direction you want to trade, it sweep the highs and sweep the lows, get everyone out of the market. You think it's going down, it goes up. You think it's going up, it went down. So it's cheating actually everyone in the market.
Yes. So nobody is winners. Everybody's basically losers in that sense. That's what the cheating candle does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get into this cheating candle theory of yours. So before we look at the cheating candle, maybe what we can do, Lee, is just take a look at Bitcoin on the monthly. We haven't done it. I mean, we just closed the monthly. So if you look at Bitcoin on the monthly candle here, I've got it here. What is your feeling on this price action?
I like the monthly candle.
Doesn't this bother you?
No.
Why not?
Because we closed with a really nice bullish candle, on the monthly. I like that the fact, I mean, it could have been better and really bullish if it would have closed with a flat top, but it is a really bullish candle, versus like if you had seen 25K at the close of the monthly, then it would be a totally different story. So, I mean, this kind of candle, to me, it is really bullish. We are looking at the monthly, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to see, and this is what I said, for the past weeks or two. I said I wanted the price to consolidate within the higher range. Then we trace back within April to this 25K and then move forward. We lose versus like we would have seen 25K by the end of the month. It will be really difficult to grind up again. So for me, that monthly candle is good. Hello. So who has lost connection now? Is it me or is it the chart artist?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, it seems like my internet just disappeared all of a sudden. I do apologize. Can you hear me and you see me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so now all of a sudden I've got 300 meg speed again, but it was 0 for a second, so it seems to be back. Okay. So you were saying?
I said I like that monthly candle, versus closing at 25K would look awful, but now as it stands, it's really nice candle for monthly close.
So guys, for anybody, this monthly, the way that why we would say this is a really good candle for those that are maybe new, if you look at the wick to the bottom of the candle, you can actually see that there's a lot of intent or aggressive buying that occurred during this one. And the top of the candle has a very shallow wick. That is what really gives us the impression of strength. So although we ended at resistance, we basically smashed that resistance and sitting against it, not giving up. And that is why you're really bullish on this one, as opposed to a different candle where you might sit in a situation where you're getting the big wick to the upside with a very little wick on the downside. Kind of tells you that the move is running to an end. You can see that as well on any of these candles as we move up. They're the opposite of the way this candle is printing. Although it's moving well, it's showing you that there is a lot of resistance at those monthly candle closes. Okay. Fibonacci Lee, Heading over to BTC on the weekly now, if we start looking at it from a weekly point of view, we were talking about this cheating candle. Okay, so this is the cheating candle that we've got going there. Please explain to everybody now in greater depth, how do we trade this? Or is there a way that we can trade this? And how do we look at this from a macro point of view now that everybody has been cheated out of their positions?
Well, for me, there's not much people on the market right now. I mean, people were trying to short last week with a stop at 28.9. I mean, at the top of the last week candle. They are out of the market right now, right? People that are longing as well, they are out of the market because they had put a stop below the doji.
Can you just close your Discord?
Discord, yeah.
Okay,
so what we said last week about this doji candle, people is longing the top and shorting the bottom with a stop at the other extreme, right? Now, a week later, well, those people are out of the market because, I mean, they lost both sides of the trade. Like all those people that were trading this diamond pattern at the top, you know, they said it breaks out to the upside. You can set up a target at 30K. It goes down to the downside. You set up a target at 25K. And what happened to that diamond pattern? It break down first. Did not go to the target and went back up. And then if we are longing at the top, then you will have lost as well. So that's why it cheated the market. It cheated everyone who wanted to trade those patterns. They are out of the trade. Everyone that wanted to trade any kind of trend line, they are now busy drawing other trend lines. And yeah, so this is what this is. From experience or from the previous candle, when you see this on a smaller time frame, it means to me that it is a start of change of trend, change of momentum. Doesn't mean that we're gonna go lower from here. It can go still a little bit higher, but it means to me that if the market wants to sweep the highs and the lows, brings confusion. But usually this is a sign of a reversal pattern.
So if we're talking daily and we're saying that we're currently reaching a point where we're slowing down and we potentially could get that 25K, we need to start creating some sort of a trend that confirms this, basically. Correct?
Well, you tell me with your axis line.
Well,
I don't know those axis line. I don't know, I don't trade those trend line, but I know that, yeah. But again, like we said this morning on our group, there is an obviously there's some levels, support level, medium level, and resistance levels that you don't want to see. And if it breaks those levels, it's actually really easy to launch another short trade. But we want to get as close as possible to the top if you want a short, and we want to get as close as possible to the bottom if you want a long. When it's in the middle like this, it's really confusing. Market needs to have a direction. I mean, on a smaller time frame on my side, this morning we said, okay, we're waiting for long. After a few hours of candles, I just told all our members that, what, forget about the long idea, because if we get to that long zone, if you wanted to long, then it will be conflicting with a short signal. And what does that mean in principle? When you have conflicting signal like this, and all of them are correct. If you are following a setup, all of them are correct. Then what do? Either you take a risk, calculated risk, and you choose a direction if you really want to trade, or you just stay out of the market and you just don't trade.
You wait.
Which is to my for me, this is the wisest decision. Is not to trade this. The market basically is going to squeeze the price within these two range, and it's going to eventually choose a direction. You cannot stay within that range for too really long time. And when you have this price action coming to a zone where the top and the bottom is really close to each other, this is when they say the Bollinger Band, for example, is going to squeeze, and you will have after that an expansion. And usually that expansion goes also both ways. It goes up and goes down on a smaller time frame.
Yes. So, and an example of there is if we move into the previous, this is a fractal like we explained Friday. It goes up, takes everybody out again. So you just thought you got the best short. It takes you out, goes, takes you out in the long. And then on the squeeze, it sometimes even goes and takes that out again. And then only the trend occurs. So how many shakeouts are we going to have to go through to try and get to that point? We don't know just yet. That's the hard trade reality, correct?
Yeah.
Now, how do we manage our portfolio around this? Because we've got a trade now. So the argument was I didn't go long on the copy trade account, but you did. You went long at around this area. I sacrificed a lot of profit to try and get a short at the zone, and then again on these areas. So my fingers are kind of burnt. I am a typical trader now that's kind of tired of shorting this market, which is the worst place to be, because now you should actually even look for it. Because if I'm tired, that's potentially probably the best direction that the market could go in. So how would you manage your thing? Because now you've got a long that you've been nursing.
Yeah.
And you've got a short that you've been holding. I'm still sitting, I'm waiting for the trend to occur. I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm trying to be too smart. I'm burning my fingers. So let's sit on the hands and wait. But in your instance, you've been lucky because you got the long that you could hedge. How would you manage this now? And I can bring up your screen if you want to.
Yeah, you can bring up my screen, or you can. I mean, there's nothing that's gonna help you while looking at my screen, because I mean, to be honest with you guys, this morning, like I said, the best option for me is to do nothing. At that stage, 28.4, 28.5. My hedge short was in drawdown, but it was fine because I've got my long from the bottom here. My hedge short I think my hedge short, it was like 28.2 around this area. Okay, now at 28.1, I'm in a hedge. It's good. Market can do whatever they want. I do not wish to go these things going up, because then it would mean that I would have lost a potential gain. Like I said, I'm happy with that, because at the end of the day, it's still a hedge. This profit from 19.6 to 28.2 is locked in. Even if it goes to 29.5, I will still have the same profit. I will just have maybe missed a few $1,000s here gain because of that hedge. If I think the market is going down, obviously I don't want to do anything. Okay, and the market is going down, and I'm going to release that hedge at a later stage when the price is going to hit 25K. Maybe put a stop loss at break even at that stage. The fact that market is consolidating within this area, I know that at any stage, if I put my hedge at 28.2, they will kick me out and then maybe decide to make the final move and then going down without my hedge. And that will, will piss me off, because for me now, it's being greedy. It's just to get a little bit of more of this price action here to the upside. I mean, if I would have been in front of the chart, I would have loved to hedge maybe this part now, in order to get really greedy. I mean, 28.5, it means that I would have been out at 28.2 and then shorted at 28.5 again. But it is really worth the effort and the risk for me just to, try to get that little bit 1% or 0.5% more to secure my hedge. This is what I'm thinking. So maybe, I just wanted to play safe. I know that my profit is secured. I don't want to touch anything between this area. And I will trade short term, because if my bias is correct, even if Bitcoin wants to go to 29.5, then I will try to short again at a higher level. But if it is consolidating with this level here, I will not touch anything. And if I want to short at higher level, then it will be like a proper short, not a hedge anymore, because my position is protected from 28.2.
Another thing, just to add on to what you said, if you get to be stingy, trying to get that zone in as tight as possible, it allows you to have that much more leverage, isn't it? Because now your risk to invalidation is less. So should the market turn in your favor, you can actually make more money that way by being patient.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if I have a higher point to hedge, but this market condition is like you are now guessing where the top is and trying to short the market where there's no setup at all. So if I see a setup, I can always trade that setup and take this profit on a short-term scale, because I'm lucky to be not worried about any long-term swing, because for me, my long-term swing, I'm happy to hold at 28.2. If it goes above it, then I'm happy to, when the setup presents itself, then I'm happy to take a trade with proper risk management and stop losses and take profit. It can be only on 5 minutes or 15-minute charts. You take profit and you say thank you, and then and that will compensate. Let's say I missed the top here. The top was at 29.2. I was lazy. I didn't want to trade Bitcoin, and I don't want to look. I mean, I had a position from 28.2. I think from that stage already, from like weeks ago. I didn't want to get the top or the bottom. I'm happy with that. So anything that I'm catching within this up and down, within those 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, it's just a scalp short, and I will take that profit, lock it in my bank in my accounts, and assuming the price from now goes from 28.1 to 29.5, yes, I would have missed, like I said, this move. That's potential profit that I would have, but I didn't get. But the fact that if you are trading within this smaller range, then if you are making profit, then that will compensate the potential, not the losses, because I'm actually not losing any money, but how do you say that in English?
It can actually combat the shakeout events.
Unrealized profit or potential profit that I missed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a little hard for me to follow what you said. I'm consistently getting dropped off the stream. I don't know what's happening with my my internet connection, but it's definitely my side, and it's definitely very frustrating. So I do apologize if I maybe sound off topic. Okay, Fibonacci Lee, I think before we move on, let's quickly go through the comments here. Why no magnets? The analysis won't play out with magnets, according to Matty. Why don't we put any more magnets on our screens?
Well, maybe because I wanted Bitcoin to stay at 28K level for the before the monthly close. I'll put a magnet now. Now that we did that monthly close, we can put a magnet.
Yeah, now we.
But I do believe market will move. I mean, during this week of April, this week or next week maximum, I think the market will move. I mean, you see, at the beginning, people were looking for this triangle, okay, and then you have those trendline traders who were looking
Just
for
zoom
this.
in on your screen there, because you've got red lines on red background now. It's hard to see.
This is the fair value gap zone. I think I can delete that. And people were looking at this. Let me put in a goldish, maybe bigger one. Okay, I don't know if you remember, but last week there were a lot of pattern traders who were calling this triangle. Okay, that was a last week doji candle. This is what we said. Now market breaks down. I don't know, from that stage or that stage. It was even maybe something closer. It broke down. People are shorting here for a target like this area, and then boom, it went up. You wanted to long this area, your TP will be 30K, and it wants to go down. So this is what all the cheating happening in this at that stage here. Trend line, I don't really know where you can put a trend line at this stage to figure out where you can long. And basically, I think at the later stage, I mean, maybe that will be the correct pattern to trade, the BART pattern, where price is consolidating at a higher range like this, and you can maybe draw a BART Simpson pattern, and then market's gonna just gonna run down to 25K. So I'm expecting the market or the Twitter to show us this BART pattern but the BART Simpson pattern at the top, and then we're just gonna drop to the next level, which is like I think at 25.5. First, something like this. So this is still my narrative. On the midterm, I'm still bearish. On the long term, I'm still bullish to 42. Midterm, bearish until like 25.5. Short-term scalp, really. I had signal to go long here, but we will have signal to go short if we come kind of get into this long area. So I prefer not to trade today, this morning at least. I mean, I'll see. Let's see what the market is going to bring us when US market opens. Oh, but this morning, I mean, Udo, get your CME chart ready. Why did we have this move up? Because we just wanted to go up to close that weekend gap that we're here on the CME chart.
So here's the daily CME for you guys, and as true as for the daily is true for the 4 hours. So there was a big move. Price finally came back, and you could look at this from a weekly time frame. You had gaps there, price goes and fills it. You had a gap there, price goes and fills it. You had a gap there, price goes and fills it. So there's normally a high probability of this happening. So if we go into the smaller time frame, the 1 hour, and this is the big push that we had this morning. So the weekend ended up with a gap there. That's what Lee's pointing towards. And now we filled it. So are we going to continue then down, or are we going to push higher? That question still remains, guys. So you've got the information now. You have the idea around where we see things, how we look at things. So you can then, from this point, pretty much, position yourself accordingly. But actually, before we move on, let's quickly take a quick second, just say hi to our sponsor. Today's channel, our main channel sponsor is Prime XBT. Open your account with Prime. You have ability of getting some bonus fees deposit into your account if you use our affiliate link. The link is down in our video and also in the description. You can withdraw up to 20K daily, no KYC. And this is something important for those that already have a Prime XBT account. Just put the promo code CryptoEMC25 in your Prime XBT account, and it will slash your fees by 25%. So make use of that. And if you don't have an account, guys, bottom right hand side of the screen, there's a little scan me box. That is just a QR code in order for you to just speed up the process. All right, so that being said, now I think we need to talk copy trade. Lee?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the goal with the copy trade? Let's remove all this.
I think today you need to create a new copy trade account and send all the followers that are subscribed already to that copy trade account. Send them the name. I don't know if you have already created that account.
Nice. It's already created. I don't wanna share it just yet. But what I want to show you guys is I want to talk to you guys about. It seems like everything is just crashing the site. Can you see my face? There we go. Hello.
Yeah.
Finally working. Okay, so I apologize. This thing just doesn't seem to want to work today, my internet. So the copy trade account, there's a few goals that we want to talk to you guys about before we go in this. Remember, there's a lot of risk. It's me trading my own money, and it's you putting your exchange to link with whatever I'm doing. So whether I'm going to be making money, whether I'm going to be losing money, you're going to be experiencing the same results. So just keep that in mind and manage your portfolio accordingly. I am a human being. I can also make mistakes. So just keep that in mind. So the previous copy trade account is from where I started. It's still in profit, but it's just seen a lot of its profit given back because I'm trying to time the stop for the short, and been doing that horribly because I didn't have a long to hedge because we're dealing with all the chop. So I'm going to be sitting on my hands probably for maybe the next few days even until we've got a trend established. And then I'm going to trade these two accounts simultaneously because I still need to get that one. I'm stubborn like that back to its original balance. But before I do that, I want to just basically tell you guys, what is the goal? What can you expect? What am I going to trade towards? So I'm going to bring up my screen really quick, and I want to show you guys this daily compound interest calculator. So my goal is to achieve over a month period 1% a day. It doesn't look like a lot, 1% a day, but if you take that over 1 month, so you have 1% daily compounded over a month, it gives you about a 34% return for the month. And that's the goal that I'm trying to achieve. So the argument being, if I do this, I do that 34%, and I manage to achieve that on average every month for 1 year, that is where my goal target is going to be. So that's what we're going to try and achieve with a copy trade account. So that every month I'm slowly compounding and just trying to get that 34%. So It is going to take some time, but that is the idea. So every month, what we're going to be doing is at the top of the screen, you're going to see the current copy trade stats going to be posted in there. There's nothing at the moment, blank. But as we continue on, I'm going to slowly but surely start populating this as we go ahead. Okay, so today is the final day. So should you still want to get access to the copy trade account, Lee, how do they do that? Maybe I must just bring up the Discord, probably the easiest way.
Yeah.
Is this working now?
I think it's working, yes.
Okay. So you don't have to fill in Google Sheet forms anymore. We've made it simple.
No.
Just head over to the Discord and go to the Prime XBT sponsored access. And
well, go to the VIP access guide first. The first there. Yeah. Here you have everything, the Prime XBT requirements, and we added a little bit more info here. So yeah, you have this Prime XBT, Prime XBT link. You have to open an account by using that link, deposit the money inside, and then you go to this verification channel, submit your email address that you use to open that account, and once verified, you will be automatically added to the advanced group.
So all that you need to do is just basically say, verify my Prime XBT with my email.
Yeah.
Okay, so it creates a dedicated channel that only me and whoever verifies can see. And within that channel, I can just send you my email.
Yeah, correct.
Simple as that. Right, guys. So it's way easier than the fill the form, click the next and all that stuff. So make use of that. Okay, so that's copy trade. Let's get copy trade out of the way. There's a few more things that we want to discuss.
I just want to say 1%, if there's anyone who can do this 1% a day is the chart artist. Technically, it's easy to do 1% a day, right? I mean, how many times you enter a trade and you see 1%, but the problem is you don't take profit. And I know that, if there's any guy or anyone who can do that, and by taking profit constantly with discipline is a chart artist. So good luck, buddy. And 1% a day, it's a really, really good ratio. If you can manage to get that, it's really, you can see on the compounding effect, it's really good.
Yeah, it really starts adding up from month to month to month to month. Okay, so let's see how the April month starts playing out. Okay, so next on our agenda is alt season, Bitcoin dominance versus BTC. Because if we're looking at this and you're looking at your BTC, you're
chart,
not
please.
invalidated 40K, correct?
Chart, please.
Yeah, can you see me? Can you hear?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we have not invalidated the argument for the 40K. There's no reason for us to say that, okay, out of this chop, we're basically bearish to be bullish, correct? So
I would say majority of the traders out there seeing a retrace. Good traders will definitely try to short and have a good short or scalp. For more guys want just this to go up. That's my sentiment. Yeah. Long-term trader, if you don't care about this 28 to 25, definitely they're gonna say, it's going to 30, it's going to 42K, and it's it's much safer to say that Bitcoin is going to 30K, next target is 33K, because I don't care if we go back to 25.
That's it. So
we are trying to get every single move inside this area. That is why it's a little bit more interesting and more difficult as well.
Yeah, so if you try and time this and try and get the farming like this, like that, and that, like those two moves, this is where it starts getting complicated. But as soon as a trend is there, it starts getting easier. So it might sound like be very vague for those, but the vagueness starts going away as we get more data. So just keep that in mind. So, but I think the general consensus is from our picture, there is no reason to believe that this is not our not in the cards for us. And like I explained to you guys last week, from this 31, 34, I'm going to start thinking spot sells. And it's conservative. We can literally blow into this area. I don't know. But I'm just conservatively speaking, that's when I'm going to really start realizing some spot profit. Now, will we have alts? Because Bitcoin has been really doing well. Maybe a few selected alts, but will the alts in general now really start coming to life? Because I think for a lot of people, that's maybe the most painful thing. They feel like they're in the wrong one, or my alt is not barely moving where everything else is pumping. So we want to talk to you guys about that. So the best tool that we can use is actually this alt season tool. So we've got Bitcoin price at the top and we've got the dominance at the bottom. And the argument is what we want to try and achieve, guys, is we have to wait and see for Bitcoin to keep on moving to the upside. But we want to see the alts, the dominance, start breaking to the downside. Now, if we look at this dominance now, Lee, are you bearish or bullish on this one?
It looks the same chart as the Bitcoin price.
Yeah, so what are we on Bitcoin? I'm sorry, but we're bearish to be bullish. So the problem that I have at this stage is I still see BTC stealing some thunder. That is my opinion at this stage.
I think so as well. I mean, alts, yeah. If Bitcoin decide to go to 25K, alt is gonna suffer more.
Yeah, that's the truth. Alt will potentially be giving back way more.
Because you can see if Bitcoin wants to go to 28, 33 or 42K in one shot, alt will at best keep moving with Bitcoin. But they will lagging behind. So yeah, I think it's not, the alt is still not ready for me.
So with that being said, guys, now how to guard against a few overtrading practices, because normally this is what we would, this is what happens now. Somebody is throwing out a tweet there, buy these sci-fi alts and they're moving up and you're gonna thank me later, and you end up feeling like you want to jump ship consistently because now the one that moves is not the one that you're in, and now you're overtrading. So you may be selling this one to try and get in that one because you're constantly seeing that the BTC value in your portfolio is shrinking, although you're making dollars. And that's a really tricky thing. So what do you do to guard against it? Because like me, Lee, we all fell victim to this at one stage.
Not anymore. I just unfollow them or block them.
Okay, yeah, but not about I want to talk about your trading style. What do you do to try and mitigate that? Being maybe in the wrong alt, everything else is moving except the one that you've got.
No,
what do you do?
No. I mean, getting ready for the alt season, yes, but trading. For me, trading Bitcoin, trading alt, trading any asset that you are familiar with or that you are used to, it's the same. At the end of the day, what is your goal? It is to make more US dollars. Either you're trading Ethereum, Bitcoin, or S&P 500, ES Mini, future contract. The end of the goal is to make more US dollars. If you want to make more Bitcoin, then you trade Bitcoin against any alt, Bitcoin against Ethereum, Bitcoin against Cardano, or any alt against Bitcoin. And then your goal will be to make more Bitcoin. So what is your first goal? If it is to make more US dollars, I don't think that trading alt to make you more profitable trader or making more, because the move on alts, the magnitude of the move on alts are bigger, by definition. But bigger, it means also it can go up, faster and have more percentages. But your risk is also bigger. So if you know how to understand how to control your risk to reward, at the end of the game is the same. And knowing that we can use this risk to reward tool and add leverage to it. So it becomes exactly the same for me if I'm trading Bitcoin or S&P or any forex pair than alt. This alt can maybe make a 30% move to the upside, but your risk at that time was 10%. Bitcoin can move 20% up, but at that time your risk on Bitcoin was only 5%. Which one is the better trade for? For me, it's still Bitcoin.
Yeah, the one with the least amount of risk. You can leverage up the gains. So guys, if you're getting tricky, if it feels like it's maybe tricky and overwhelming, what you can do is you can just head over to the Discord as well. We do daily bootcamp videos for everybody on Mondays. Well, not daily. We do it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, we trade live with the community. So watch for the new event that's going to be popping up shortly. And within these areas, we actually answer some of these questions. We share some of these education as well, because it's very specific. It doesn't necessarily make for an entertaining video. It's education, hardcore education. So make yourself, take some time, go through these bootcamp videos, get onto the advanced group. There's many ways that you can do that. And go and watch this. Participate in these videos in the morning as well. We've also got dedicated channels where people can actually go and ask specific questions. And if we can't text answer it, we actually dedicate the next video and answer those questions in proper video format so that you can see what we're looking at. So it's the easiest way for you to learn and understand more and dive and grow your trading skills as you move on. Okay, so back to where what we were looking at, Lee. So when we look at overtrading, just as a sum up, don't try and be in everything. Don't try and jump ship too much. Understand what your goal is. If your goal is dollars, then are you achieving that? And then be happy with that. And if your goal is to make more BTC, your goal is not going to be looking at the dollars. And that's when you're going to trade to the BTC pairing. And that's actually what I want to show you guys the next phase of this, is trading altcoins, how to analyze altcoins to the BTC pairing in order to achieve those goals. So what I have here is a chart. Now, the chart is Phantom on the weekly. And what I want to show you guys is the following things. If you want to try and beat BTC and farm for more. So first things that I want to do is I will want to look at Phantom versus its dollar value. Why? Because it's one thing, because you're going to be trading against another volatile asset, you at least want to make sure that it's making you money. It's not just losing your money and you're sitting with a shit coin. Okay. Then secondly, what I want to do is I want to make sure that Phantom is outperforming BTC. So I need to have a chart with it against the BTC pairing. Then thirdly, in order for me to really know whether I need to be in Phantom or something else, Ethereum is the measuring stick. It's the biggest, the baddest altcoin out there. So for me, it's just as important. If it beats BTC, but it loses out on ETH, I'll rather have ETH for that reason, And then last on, we can actually then dive into smaller time frames and, try and look for that entry. So let's look at a Phantom to the dollar pairing real quick. So what did we have with Phantom? A while back, we did these charts. We marked them all up for you guys. So we were looking at how price was going up and the value of the price was making lower lows, but the OBV or the RSI was giving us strong bullish divergence. This was that 15K buy. So from Phantom's point of view, if you think about what BTC did, it went from 15 to 30. So it's almost a 2x, where Phantom on that instance made 3x. So if your argument was that you were going to buy BTC, Phantom has outperformed BTC on this run. The problem, though, is like Lee just explained to you guys, your BTC stop will be much smaller due to the nature of it, where because Phantom is more volatile, these little swings, I mean, that's a 16% swing where BTC had about a 3 or 4% swing. So you're not necessarily making the same amount, making more money, because you have to incorporate bigger risks. So your leverage amount is going to be lower. So you have to consider this, that it's not just this that makes it good. But from this point to start looking on whether this thing's going to beat BTC, at least it's got all the preliminary stuff in hand. So as it's moving, this one is outperforming BTC. So if I've got 7 or 8 coins, when the next dip happens, I would rather be farm buying Phantom as opposed to something that is barely moving like a Cardano. We'll look at a Cardano now. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to look at. So on the weekly, Phantom is outperforming BTC on the larger trend. But just remember now, like I said, these volatilities, Phantom retraced like 53%. So if you missed the top and you went through this move, this is a horrible feeling where BTC is way more reserved. So you need to think about that. So now if we look at Phantom,
Bitcoin haven't lost the 23.6 yet. So we haven't even lost 20% of that gain.
Yeah, Bitcoin's done a 2x, Phantom's done a 3x. Okay, so everybody buying Phantom at this stage thinks they're genius, okay? But if I look at this now from a Fibonacci retracement level, Bitcoin's sitting there. The Phantom went. Crazy feeling. Okay, so that's the part that nobody ever tells you. So looking back at it always seems like it's a brilliant tool. But that's what people don't really go through. Okay, so that being said, now let's look at Phantom to the BTC pairing. And this is where it really gets interesting. Now, if I look at this from a long-term investor hold, what I would want to see is a slow, gradual gradient up. So the easiest way to just see that is just by drawing a stupid little trend line. And what you want to see is, although you're going to be looking at swings where Phantom is moving better than BTC and Phantom's retracing, as you can see now, if we get that shakeout to 25K for BTC, Phantom has already taken a big chunk of its punishment. So it might mean that Phantom's going to hover at around this area over here. So Phantom to the BTC pairing, that would be a buy zone for Phantom to the BTC pairing. But now, remember, guys, alts, there's a 17% stop limit. So you need to really manage your portfolio at this stage. But with that being said, if you look at this and you look at the way that this price is moving, generally speaking now, because the trend is still up and Phantom's still consistently outperforming BTC in this regard, in the gains regard, this would be a really good candidate for this alt season on this what do you call it? A popcorn season, Lee? Mm-hmm. When there's a little bit of more alt gains than BTC. Okay. Now, the big measuring stick that you need to consider is Phantom making more ETH? And Phantom is one of those that, in this case, is also making more Ethereum. So I'm happy with Phantom as one of those alts that I would want to try and spot buy or trade to make more BTC. And if you look at the Cardano version of this, let's go to Cardano. So you've got Cardano. I'm going to go to the weekly on spot. Look at this now. Cardano at this stage made a lower low, but it made a lower low on the RSI. So it's telling me that at this stage, there was no real reason other than the fact that Bitcoin was going up and Cardano is going up for that. It didn't give you that divergence, that extreme oversold condition. So it means that this thing might be chopping sideways. That's your first warning sign. So if you're going to be looking at any alt, you want to have an alt in mind that when we bottomed with BTC at 15K, that there was some sort of a divergence, which Cardano doesn't have, Phantom has, Ethereum has, so forth. That's the first thing you need to be looking at. So that's a warning sign. Secondly, now if you move over into the weekly time frames and you start looking at Cardano to the BTC pairing, you can see that although we are trending to the upside, that's a really slow curve. Nothing wrong with it. But it tells me that there's still a lot more loss to BTC to occur before this is really going to be a bargain project or something that's going to be moving. So it might just mean that from this point of view, nobody's going to be interested in loading up big bags of Cardano just yet, because there's no reason, looking at this chart, to think that Cardano is going to do this to the BTC just yet. But what it is showing me is that potentially, if it keeps on narrowing, what do we know? We have this pattern that it's a, what do you call it? A narrowing wedge or whatever that thing is. I'm not a pattern trader, but I do know this. Something that keeps on doing this eventually breaks up to the upside. So, and that is something that is good. So Cardano is one of those. If I have Cardano, I would rather consider on the buying the next dip, not necessarily looking at Cardano until it shows me that it wants to do more. The same is going to be for Cardano to the Ethereum pairing. So if you look at it from that point onwards, it's easy just to have ETH, because Cardano to the Ethereum pairing is basically just losing out. So there's an example of something that is looking good versus an example of something that's looking bad. So when BTC goes back into this range, when it gives us this buy zone, look for something that looks like Phantom to get in on, rather than sitting on a Cardano, because I think a lot of people are going to start saying, it hasn't moved, it's time to move, and they might be right. But from a large investor point of view, I don't see any reason for supply to get gobbled up with something that's performing like this just yet. Bottom out, see that there's no more downside, give me some sort of a divergence, and then potentially then we can have that move. Okay. So looks like a massive bull flag. I might have missed when that comment came through. Lee, is there anything else we want to share for today? I think that's about that.
That's about it.
Here's a comment. I think the alt confusion I personally had, not separating trading from investment mindset. Lee, that's probably the most important thing to do, correct?
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at trading. We have this Harmonic Bot scanner who is trading, scanning the alts, give us proper risk management and stop losses if you want to trade alts. Investments, completely different strategy for me as of for alt. Investment on alt, I don't even use stop losses. Basically, I just put the money that I'm really ready to lose, maybe all of them on alt. So that's how I invest, and that money that I'm ready to lose is part of that stop losses normally if I have to use a stop loss, and that's really part of the long-term plan. Because technically, I mean, if you have like, I don't know, hundreds of alts that you have to chart and to invest, it would be really difficult to keep your books. So that's how I treat alts.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. Let's call it a day. I wanted to show you guys another alt, but maybe head over to the Discord, guys. Bottom right-hand side of your screen. Scan the Discord. And when we're going to go live trade on Wednesday, I'll share a few more of these alts that I'm thinking could potentially go versus ones that I would be reluctant to hold in the next run. Right, Lee, thanks so much, buddy.
Cool.
Closing remarks, or have you said what you needed to say?
No, I said what I needed to say.
Okay, guys. Remember, we are not financial advisors of any sort, so do your own research. Make sure that you do have your risk management. We show you how we go about this, but that's it. That's the best that we could do. That's what we're sharing with you guys on these streams. Lee, thanks so much, buddy. And then I'll see you in the Discord, where we're going to be probably trading a little bit later this afternoon, should the market allow for it. Looking at where Bitcoin is at this stage, what do you think? Are you going to want to go and hit the long, or you done for today?
Can change in about 5 minutes. The US market is open in 5 minutes, so I'll be focusing on S&P 500 first. And once I'm done with that, maybe I'll turn. I want to trade Ethereum today. I know there's a setup that I'm pretty confident on Ethereum. On a Monday, really good trade setup. Not a good risk to reward ratio. It's like a 0.8 or even a 1-to-1, but it's got like 90% of success rate on a Monday. So that's why I'm willing to risk a little bit of money here.
On Ethereum?
On Ethereum.
Is it going to be a short?
I don't know yet. It's a 5 minute scalp.
Okay. So head over. So it's going to be a 5 minute scalp on ETH, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, I'm interested to see what Lee's got, because Lee's got these secrets and he only shares it to me as well afterwards. He goes and get it, and then he doesn't phone me up anymore like, buddy, I've got this. You need to see this. He just leaves it.
Yeah, well, you see, you are so stubborn that when I share with you, you say, oh, okay, it's nice, but you never use it. So, you just want to use your own axis line. So keep using it.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
But I'll post on Twitter when I'm gonna short or when I'm gonna long on this. I'm gonna just post a line on Twitter, and then a few minutes later I'll post the take profit and see how it works. I mean, last time I did something like this on a 5 minute chart, it was really, really well timed. And then
I have one chart that I just want to show. I want to show you guys before we leave. I forgot to get to. It's this one. Not this one, this one. So the last time round when we were looking at BTC at around 15K, I used the point and figure chart. Now what it does is it basically prints volatility. It shows you where these gaps are going to be. It shows you a nice graphical tool to show you where to get to. Now it's a candle tool. So if you've got a paid TradingView account, you can actually just get it. Simple as that. So it's nothing too complicated. And if we look at this run to the upside, we now have basically a reverse version of what happened over here. We had these targets, price visited these targets, and came back and filled these gaps. So from an investor swing trade point of view, 25K or with potentially a 23K, we'll see where that is the two target areas that I'm looking at for us. So if you want to be trading, your mindset is going to be, if this thing rejects, once this rejects, 25, 23.3. Those would be the big two targets that I'm going to be looking at. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I've shared everything that I wanted to share. Thanks so much, Lee.
Good. Talk to you later.
Right, guys. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.
Keep hustling.